fighters. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they killed their crown, they changed their mind. When they killed their crown, they changed their mind. What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
You freedom fighter, you raping our women.
They are freedom fighters.
Freedom fighter, you killing our children.
They are freedom fighters.
Freedom fighter, you destroying our country.
They are freedom fighters.
Ayo, 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 oh, ayo, yo, ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo, 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 oh, ayo, yo, ayo, 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 ayo. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. When they were coming, they said they were liberators. But when they killed their ground, they changed their mind. When they killed their ground, they changed their mind. What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
You freedom fighter, you raping our women.
They are freedom fighters.
You freedom fighter, you killing our children.
They are freedom
You
fighters.
freedom fighter, you destroying our country.
They are freedom fighters.
Ayo, 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 oh, ayo, yo, ayo, 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 oh, ayo, yo, ayo, 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 ayo. Music. Aha. Wani maji enye wara wa monyoju weyan ke wana wa kuna nyire wasia wa pebi abu wana wa kuna konwe wasia wa pebi abu kena be monye be ni aka
I'm a freedom fighter.
oh wa monye o
I'm a freedom
mo
fighter.
freedom fighter ke ni nyonyo bi okwasa
I'm a freedom fighter.
mo freedom fighter ke ni nyonju bi ogbapa
I'm a freedom fighter.
mo freedom fighter ke ni nyon bi bu ojini
I'm a freedom fighter.
ayo, 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 yo, ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo, 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 yo, ayo, 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 ayo. Wani maji anye wara wa monyonju weyan. Wani maji anye wara wa monyonju weyan. Ke wana wa kuna giye. Wasia wa pebi abu. Wana wa kuna konwe. Wasia wa pebi abu. Kena be monye be ni aka.
I'm a freedom fighter.
Wa monye o.
I'm a freedom fighter.
Mo freedom fighter ke ni nyonyo bi okwasa.
I'm a freedom fighter.
Mo freedom fighter ke ni nyonju bi ogbapa.
I'm a freedom fighter.
Mo freedom fighter ke ni nyon bi bu ojini.
I'm a freedom fighter.
Ayo, 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 yo, ayo, 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 ayo. Ayo, 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 ayo,
hunter, KOJ, we don't want you be the hunter. Le 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 le, yeah. Oh, bon county. Now listen to me, my people. Let me tell you the story about a greedy hunter. Hey, he passed the oil royal to the people. Yeah. The people told you are wicked, we never believe it. Now you are proving yourself. Give the people chance, greedy hunter. Right now, if in the middle of the night, I had a dream. Then I saw Bon County crying. Go and tell my people, I'm crying. Because the leader for the each other. I'm crying so much. Then I wake up in the middle of the night. Then I call my beautiful wife. I say, come for Colette. I had a dream, baby. I saw Bon County crying, say, the leader for the each other. Then I call my little son. I said, Jenny, don't sack it. Do not be like the greedy hunter or a riot. Don't be a good boy. Greedy hunter, KOJ, we don't want you be the hunter. Bon tire with you, greedy hunter, KOJ, we don't want you be the hunter. Everyone tire with you, KOJ, we don't want you be the hunter. Keep Pharaoh let you be the hunter, KOJ, we don't want you be the hunter. Now passing around here showing how they got money. Lying, they are all wicked people. Wicked people, be careful. Now listen to the story. Listen to the story. Hey, well. Get our jeans, get our jeans, get our jeans, get our jeans, get our jeans. He passing all around here, boasting everywhere, man. He's a political sucker. Don't mind him. He's a political sucker. We know you're lying all around here to the people. Oh yeah. This young man 2011, they all left from Bon County. Yeah. They went to the parliament to represent Bon County. My people. When they came back on the 17th, many of them fall. Yeah, my people. Those that suffer, when they went by in the house, he told his friend, he said, can you please help me to become the normal assessment of Liberia? So that I can bring development. Then I stood by him, and he got a job. He was showing one of his friends, oh, a riot. This is my friend. He's a very nice man. He's a wealthy man. Let us give him the chain for the second time, so he can leave Bon County to the Senate. When you show a man all around, now you are deceiving him. Amen. In the 3rd minute time, that same man he was showing. Get our jeans, get our jeans, get our jeans, get our jeans, get our jeans. He passing all around here, boasting everywhere, man. He's a political sucker. Don't mind him. He's a political sucker. We know you're lying all around here to the people. Oh yeah. This young man 2011, they all left from Bon County. Yeah. They went to the parliament to represent Bon County. My people. When they came back on the 17th, many of them fall. Yeah, my people. Those that suffer, when they went by in the house, he told his friend, he said, can you please help me to become the normal assessment of Liberia? So that I can bring development. Then I stood by him, and he got a job. He was showing one of his friends, oh, a riot.
Let me welcome you to the Magnificent Abraka Talk Show Here we discuss the truth. We are not here to, I, 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 we are not here to believe that we are on the right trajectory. I have with me today in studio one of our own, one of our own, and he is Phoebe Henry. Phoebe Henry, welcome. Phoebe Henry, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Who is Phoebe Henry?
I'm not seeing you.
Yeah, if you're following the show, then you will get to understand that that we are alive and you are alive as well.
Okay, no issue. Okay, so I'm Fubu Henry is a Liberian, born 1979, December 24th. Hold a bachelor's degree in accounting. Married, Jebe Henrys with 7 girls children. Currently, I serve as the national treasurer of the Authority National Congress. So I've been involved in politics and also advocacy. And my profession by educational standard, I'm an accountant. So basically, that's that.
All right, all right. I wanted to go in the 3 days. I mean, you guys have a demonstrations. The 3 days you guys had a demonstration, and that demonstration was about the establishment of the War and Economic Crime Court. Can you just go ahead and be able to tell the Liberian people what you guys decided to go that route? What is it?
Yeah, I always say, the discussion about war and economic crime score is like a baby to me. May 8th, if you follow 2018, May 8th, we petitioned the House. I led the delegation at the Capitol building, asking for the full implementation of the TRC recommendations. So, and it's just a continuation of that same petition. And this time we also petitioned the House onto 2 other petitions. One calling for the amendment of Article 97A and B of the Liberian Constitution, which grant amnesty to all those that took part in the coup after all the killings and gruesome acts they committed. They ensured that the Constitution provided cover for them as listed in Article 97A and B. So we are asking the lawmakers to put it up for referendum so that we can go and amend that act and remove that protection. And we also petition the House to repeal the act passed in 2003, August 8th, calling for granting amnesty also to all those that took part in the Liberia Civil Wars from 1989 December to August 2003. So the same thing, they say, they have this adage that monkey see, monkey do. And the guys copied from what the PRC regime did after staging a coup, which was a gross violation of the Liberian Constitution as well. And they granted themselves amnesty. So Charles Taylor and all the other warlords that were in the House also thought it wise to also grant themselves amnesty so that there'll be no form of prosecution against them for whatever act that was done between 1989 December to 2003 August. So we're asking the lawmakers to also repeal that, because you cannot violate the Constitution and also give yourself protection. So you break the law and protect yourself from all form of punishment as it relates to the very law that you broke. And if we want to keep carrying our candidates with them, violence will be the order of the day. People will come, seize power after violating the laws and give themselves protections, and then move forward. So generation after generation will keep copying this style. At the end of the day, it will not serve well for our country. So we're asking them to repeal that so that the implementation of the TRC recommendations can be smooth, so there will be no issue of legal bottlenecks to say that these people are barred from prosecution based on XYZ law. So we're asking to repeal that. Though the acts committed were all, most of them were human rights violation besides the treason against the state. So we're asking to keep pushing this. And this is what we are calling all Liberians to pay attention to this. And we shouldn't see the issue of calling for war and economic crimes code as a tribal issue. We shouldn't see it as a political issue that we need to get political dividends from will-be perpetrators. And we need to see it as setting precedents so that the next generation will not experience what our generation experienced. And that's just the long and short of it. So we stay ringing the bell, and we also had Luja, they're one of the advocacy groups, and we also soliciting signatures for the 1 million signature that we're trying to solicit to ensure that we also amplify the call for war and economic crimes in Liberia.
Yeah, if you are following those guys, the high power delegations of the Liberian government that is sent to the United States, that was one of the outcomes of their meetings, and that is the reason why the State Department said they are not meeting with them until they can go and straighten up the war and economic crime code. What do you have to say about that when it comes to the United States?
No, we welcome the move of the United States. We welcome the move of the UN. We welcome the move of every justice advocate that's adding his or her voice to this. We welcome the move of every human rights group that also adding their voices to this call. And it cannot be done. No, there's no better time to do it than now. Most of the time when you raise these issues, people say, "Oh, it's not timely," as though the lives of these warlords, they have it stored in some kind of refrigerator, waiting for the right time. They are all aging. They will all die at a certain point in time. Like all of us, we know that death is inevitable. So when people are alive, that's the time you institute justice against, for or against them, and not to keep delaying and keep finding reasons why it shouldn't be done. Because the more we find reasons why it shouldn't be done, it will not serve well for us. And at the end of the day, this country is going to be, seen as a lawless state, and no, it will not attract any serious investor because they will know that we don't follow up on legal issues. So, but we're going to keep ringing the bell. But we welcome the move of the United States government in pushing and encouraging our guys to do that. In 2019, the House of Representatives passed it in the United States, and they were billed that were put forth by Representative Donovan also. And it was passed by the House of Representatives. It should be before the Senate now, waiting for concurrence. So we hope that the Senate can also push that, and we get the full mandate of the United States government to ensure that we have the issue of war and economic crimes and the full implementation of the TRC recommendations, implemented so that we can close this whole debate about war and economic crimes code.
Now, one of the things that Nathaniel followed my guest in the meetings, because I sent agents in that meeting with Nathaniel follow my guest. You remember when they said that they are encouraging all talk show hosts for them to go to that meeting on last week Sunday. Nathaniel followed my guest. One of my agent asked him, "Why do you guys think that war crime code will be necessary for our country and for you guys to give way for justice?" Nathaniel followed my guest said directly, and I'm quoting him, he said that war and economic crime code will not be established under George Weah government. What do you have to say when it comes to that? He said war and economic crime code would never be established under George Weah government.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that McGill will even speak as such, and I see that as sheer ignorance to even mention that, in public forum. You can only say that in closed door where you have only your confidants. But if you start to make those kind of statements publicly, then you are sending a message out there. And there are several things that I've said before, that the only reason why people will be against war crimes code, war economic crimes code, and not want to implement them, one, either they took part in a war or they had a share of it. Two, Either they're trying to protect somebody for political gain or whatever stuff, or one of their relatives, or they want to protect their relative or tribal person. 3, they intend to commit similar acts. So, and I think for this government has been listed as one of the most corrupt government. So when you talk about economic crimes code, it means that the government want to be, all the government officials that are linked to all the massive corruption, they want to be hooked. So it's on that, I think it should be on that basis that McGill will be speaking as such, trying to provide cover for the corruption that they have carried out in this regime. Because there are a lot of things that you see them doing, and in no serious things, you will see any serious-minded person will carry out that. If you get in government, in 1 or 2 months, we see your houses sprouting under the ground. That you throw corn seed on the field, and every so morning you see all the corn growing, and you enter government, you refuse to disclose your asset, and before you even enter government, we knew how you were living. Some of you couldn't even afford to even put gas in the car you had to ride, and your car was always in the garage for servicing. And you barely afford a decent house to live that even costs $1,000 per year. But now we see you having a mansion all of a sudden. So where did you get that wealth from overnight? And when you compare your salaries that you are making, it cannot acquire such property. So these are the rationale behind some of these thinking. They are more or less committing economic crimes, and establishing economic crimes code will definitely hold them after they leave office, because while they're in office, they might protect themselves and free themselves from prosecution. But when they leave office, they will not have that protection. So those are some of the reasons why you see them trying to shield or refuse for the establishment of economic crimes code. And also, like I said earlier, the second reason where you want to gain some political favor. There are some of the warlords that are practically situated in some rich counties, and you hope to tap on their campaign for you in future. So you don't want to prosecute them, and you want them on your side. So that's another reason that they will also be standing in the way of the war crimes code, because they want some political favor for some of the warlords. If they themselves didn't partake in the war, like they say in the Save You All rope called Bush. So some of them are the Bushes, and when you hold the war crimes code issue, you will definitely start bringing some of them up, because their secrets were not known, and some people have to boil it down and explain what they know about them, and that's why some of them don't want.
Now let me play you a clip that I have here. Let me play it for you, and then you can watch.
Town overlooks a rocky and dusty hill known as Ekomok Hill, after an Ekomok peacekeeper who died in a car crash during the First Liberian Civil War. Children played as I traveled by motorbike into the predominantly Muslim town, a very different scene from what transpired here 25 years ago. Omen Dauman Conte, 49, recalls the night the massacre took place here in August 1994.
The whole town was hard and scattered. Nobody knew where they are going. They were just shooting. Some people yelling. They grabbed some people, they cut their throat. Some people, they were killed by a gun. So after we all left the town, they did a shooting. Daylight, we were managed to come. I mean,
with tears rolling down his eyes, Conte said more than 25 disfigured bodies were counted after the incident. Conte says it was difficult to identify most of the bodies that had been scattered around the town and left in bushes, so he and other elders of the town buried the dead in mass graves. This is one of the many mass graves in West Town. We are told that some of the people who were allegedly murdered by Ahaji Kuman's Unimoke forces were dumped here. Elders of this town tell us there's no memorial for them, and these people were never buried in line with Islamic rites. Conte believes the soldiers acted on Kuman's orders, but the TRC report claims both Unimo K and Unimo J were responsible for the massacre.
Alhaji Kuman, no reason that he gave order to his people to come kill our people here. There's no reason. Because we are not fighting them. We are not soldiers. We are not soldiers. When we see them, we run away from them. Why must they come and attack us? The other, they are attacking enemy. We are not exchanging guns with them.
We met Professor Ahaji Kurma at his deserted residence. Only a few staff are available for aid purposes. In an exclusive interview with us, Kurma denies every accusation by residents of Besser Town against him and his troops, claiming a similarity in the names of his rebel group and that of Roosevelt Johnson's may have been an issue.
Like I'm saying, Udimo K, Udimo J. I'm not insisting that it has to be Udimo J. I'm not trying to impose a crime on a group that I cannot identify clearly just because I want to say something. No, it's unfair to do that. But I'm saying the possibilities of it being our people very, very minimal.
Kunta wants those responsible for the death of his relatives and others killed during the Liberian civil wars to be held accountable for their actions.
If I have the power now, I want for the war crime code to be here. If I have the power, because not in Liberia, because no reason why those people will kill our people and they passing around boasting, they enjoy, and some of them they threaten people. If you don't do this, we'll go back in the bush again. We'll do this. For what reason? Because you kill our people, you're going free.
Calls for the code are resonating around this town. Its youth leader Mustafa Rogers was 10 when the alleged killings took place here. But he says he vividly recalls civilians and fighters of other warring factions captured by Udimo K were detained in a 44-foot continuum and killed at May Day every day. He identifies one of Kurma's alleged generals called Senegalese, who was known for eating human hearts.
You know let to see like me, you don't want me because maybe my heart, he say my heart black. When you bright like that, you say your heart involved. Me okay, you open you, tell the heart, eat Senegalese, not any person but Senegalese. They met 8 people in Raspo and then they drove in from there, they say move from here. Senegalese.
Rogers' allegations are supported by Ome Conte.
But the West and West person was Senegalese, because he will not kill you and leave you, he will kill and eat you. He will kill and eat you.
Kurma claims that his troops were so disciplined that if they were smoking cigarettes or opinion and saw him, they would put it in their pockets for fear of being punished by him. Kurma says, although he heard about a fierce rebel general called Senegalese, the individual did not fight for him, as he dismisses Berse residents' claims, and that his troops never ate human hearts.
The eating heart business is a fake story, completely fake story. You can eat chicken, let alone human being. For example, I'm a Muslim. Muslims, before they eat the chicken, they have to slaughter the chicken and recite certain Islamic recitations. And before they can eat the chicken, before the chicken can be valid for eating. So try to imagine you doing that to chicken. What about human beings?
German Parkar, speaking through a narrator in the Val language, is still coming to terms with the deaths of some members of our family.
For me, my husband, my daughter, and my son, they were murdered in the process. For my husband, in fact, his heart was taken out. In fact, they slaughtered my husband, my daughter. The gunshot, they shot her. This is how my case was.
As Kurma claims innocence against allegations against him and his forces, 67-year-old Kerkhoff family says they, as residents of Besser Town, believe that only a war crimes court can establish the truth.
The way they could in Freetown way, my don't say let it be in Liberia. Let it be in Liberia. It will be all right. And but you act bad. Then you face the justice.
The push for accountability by residents of
You wasn't at the clip. You wasn't at this clip. What does the clip tell you? Hello? Fumi Henry.
Yeah.
You wasn't at the clip. What does the clip
Oh.
tell you?
And, this is some of the reason why we keep just listen to people giving their stories about what took place. And this is to tell you that people are still living with a trauma. And the only way you can give them some level of relief is to have some form of justice. Let them see their perpetrators going to court and answering for what they did. And I would say this, we are only giving these guys the opportunity they never gave other people. Because when they were fighting the war, they didn't give people time for justice. They just saw you indiscriminately and killed.
Can you imagine the Senegalese, one of the fighters, he opened
eating human heart.
Yeah, eating human heart.
Yeah.
That they have to drive they have to drive in for rubber sport in order because the men have eaten everybody heart. All the brother people, the men when you black, the men say your heart is not good. The men will eat your heart moment you look fair or less skinny. The men will butcher you. What?
So this is the darkness, the sad part that took place in this country. And when we're talking about justice, if other people getting vexed, why will you get vexed? Why will you get vexed for justice if you listen to this kind of story? Somebody kill your husband in front of you and eat a husband's heart. Someone kill scores of people in front of you and eat their hearts on a daily basis. Putting people in 40 feet continue and killing them on a daily basis. Going to town and just shooting indiscriminately. Then you say we should keep quiet and just put it behind us and we shouldn't talk about it. Then you have the same people moving around and living better at the expense of the very people they harm. And so I always keep telling people, so we gotta be serious and we gotta stand up in one voice. There are basic principles that we preach at home, at our different religious organizations. We will tell people not to be rude. We will tell you don't steal. We will tell you killing is bad. God hates killing. So you learn these things and know that God does not like killers, or he does not like for you to kill. He does not like for you to steal. Then these people did all of these killings. Then you say, no, don't talk about them. The men are killer, but my own a killer because he's from my tribe, so we protect him. The men are killer, but my own a killer because he will help me to get votes. The men are rogue, but my own a rogue because I'm my brother. But you the same person, when somebody goes steal in your community, you want to take rock or bust their head. If somebody walk to you, go in your house right now and rape your daughter or your wife, if you have the opportunity to shoot that person with a gun, you will kill that person. So now we're saying justice for all that these guys did, we say no. So I don't understand why people even want to oppose. Because the God that we all serve, every holy book that I have read tells you that God is a God of justice. So seeking justice is never the wrong thing to do. If we all believe that we're serving God, regardless of what religion you're from, if you believe that you are serving God, God believes in justice. God supports justice. So there should be no reason why we should go against any form of justice on earth, because that will help us to live at peace with each other. And it will also set precedents so that we cannot see or repeat of what took place in this country. And we're not telling people, the core is not so much about why the guy fought war. It's about the conduct of the war. You left your war front, you left the battlefield, and went in people's villages to kill them. People that never have one single cutlass or knife or arm to fight you, you kill them. You left your rebel, your battlefield. You kill people and ate their heart. You left your battlefield and went to schools, churches, mosques, other places, and massacre people overnight, sometimes during the day. I was at JFK when the JFK massacre took place. The only reason why it didn't take place in JFK fence itself, it took they collected people and took them to the James Pinky airstrip and the La Paz Zulu, put them in pickups upon pickups, and took them there and killed them. Unlike the Lutheran church that they went there in the night and killed people. You know, so these are things that we saw, we witnessed, and I still remember these things like they happened yesterday. And you would have many people right behind my house. There's a lady here that went to look for food for her family. When she returned home, a rebel mortar bombed her house and killed her 3 children instantly. Up to today's date, she's still not stable in her mind. And there are many persons like that. You listen to the people just talking about people eating heart, eating your heart. You look at somebody, kill somebody, and take out their heart in front of you and eat it. A large command trying to get justification. You know, you can't use religion to find an excuse. Because the first thing to even give people arms to fight against the state was wrong. So, and the TRC recommendations go in different categories. They got the 8 warlords who bear the greatest responsibility for whatever act their fighters committed. And he's one. That's Charles Sitter. He's in jail for another felony. You have Prince Johnson. You have Alaji Kroman. You have George Bulley. You have Roosevelt Johnson. He's dead, so he's going to face Onasa. You have Francois Massacre. He's dead. You got Tomo Yaya Nimle. You got Sekou Damante Kone. 8 of them bear the greater responsibility for whatever took place, whatever their guys did on the field. Then the next, you have the most notorious perpetrators, those that were actually on the ground killing. And starting on that list is Prince Johnson. You got Moses Blah, he's already dead. And you got several other guys, Roland Duo, the Adolfo Dolo, the Saboli, the Sonega Diabo, the Kubu Dennis, the Benjamin Yeten, and General 00, CO Craig, Agnes Taylor, and all kind of names, Tiger 1T, and so forth. There are so many of them. I think the Senegalese name also there. You got General Mosquito.
Yeah.
Malayos, there are so many. The Ofori Dia, the Power, Augustus Nangwe, that you see them today wearing NSA or Ministry of State car and executing mission for the government. All of these guys are ruthless killers. Melvin Sobani, the Yonwe Mokomna, Dan Morayo, Senator Banning, and several of them. Then you have another group for economic crimes, those that stole. The Oscar Cooper, the Edwin Snow, the Bernard Ure, Manuel Shaw, Koro P. Barry, several of them, a whole long list of them for economic crimes. Then you got those listed for 30 years banned from public service. It's on that list. You have Madam Salif, you have the Maurice Etuma, you have what is guy named Kabina Janan, former Associate Justice, and several of them. And you got other companies and terrorist group that aided and abetted the war, all listed. So we're asking for an opportunity for these people to have their days in court. If the court says that they were free and what they did are justifiable and they are exonerated, we'll embrace them in society. If not, let them serve their sentence so that the next generation that following us will not see war as an option. Because people saw Samuel Doe stage the coup, he became president. Charles Taylor brought the war, he became president. Prince Johnson brought the war with Taylor, he became senator. Madam Salif said going to be there 10,000 to the war, she became president. So, and there are a lot of these other guys, the Samuel Johnson, the George Boley, yeah, he fought, he became representative. What is the other guy named? Kai Fale Ford, he became representative, now he's superintendent. Most of the other guys became ambassador, became vice president, became speaker of the house, John Bell Mokomna. All these guys, Samuel Johnson, they all took prominent position in government. So all we're saying, in short, to the next generation, that when you fight war, you will get political benefit and you will live a decent life than the rest of the population. So brace yourself for future disaster. That somebody will wake up and organize some warring faction and say, look, let's go and kill another president and take power. Because, and right after we take power, we put a law in place that nobody can punish us for whatever we did. Then we carry on. Then the cycle continues. Year after year, we keep repeating the same nonsense. And we pray that some of us shouldn't be alive by that time if such will happen. And that's why we are pushing to ensure that war crimes code, economic crimes code, the full implementation of the TRC is done, so that anybody who would think about that will know that, oh, those guys did this, and at the end of the day, they were paid. So they were made to pay, you know, through the justice system. So we will not venture in that. Go to election. If you don't win, find something else to do with your life. If the opportunity comes, if you want to try again, try again. But never should anybody use guns to stage, to seize power in this country. That's one of the reasons why we're standing, we're preaching, we're talking all and taking the risks to talk about the establishment and the full implementation of the TRC recommendation to prevent reoccurrence of what took place in this country.
This war, the war economic crime code issue is very, very necessary for our country and our society, because that is the reason why the society have become so violent. That is the reason why that even our brothers, our brothers have become so violent to such an extent, that even when it comes to the solutions, and someone said that George Floyd is a sponsor for the war. That's what Yeke Kolba said. And I am surprised that Yeke Kolba and Daroff, the other people, they are now calling for the war economic crime code. Then you would have never had, you claim that you never had nothing to do with the war economic crime code. Then you don't want to implement it.
Yeah.
But now keep our call coming on 215-578-1050 or 215-824-8124. So what did you hope, or what did you achieve in going to the Capitol building?
Yeah, so we submitted a petition. I read a petition. It was received. It was also discussed in plenary, and it has been forwarded to committee room. And we anticipate a public hearing with the committee to give them reasons why they should honor the petition. And there are a few lawmakers also that have already taken interest in repealing, especially the article, the act that was established August 7, 2003, granting amnesty to all the rebels that fought from 1989 December to August 2003. So other representatives are already taking that up, and there are a few others that are also supportive of the amendment of Article 97A and B. So that's a good start. So we just want to keep ringing the bell and keep bringing this up so that at least we can have some level of closure at the end of the day.
All right. What in case if he does not see the full implementations of this TRC or the war crime code during this regime? What
Yeah, we are not going to stop talking about it. And the good thing now, if you see, you follow recently, the major oppositions have already endorsed it. The ANC through Mr. Cummings spoke clearly endorsing the full implementation and of war economic crimes code. And a few days after, the United Party also give a press release with full endorsement for the war economic crimes code. And after that, the former vice president also on a radio talk show, and he also, gave his consent and full support for the full implementation of the war economic crimes code. And the party chairman also, Mudat, came up also in support of it. Sometime last year or so, Bernard Ure also endorsed the establishment of the war economic crimes code. And so these are all to clear his own name, because he's listed as one of those indicted for economic crimes. So he wants to clear his name so that his children can live in peace after he's long gone, and they shouldn't be pointing finger at them for role that their father did in while he served in government. So, and those are all welcoming things. Everybody that you have some level of allegation hanging over you, you should be craving for justice so that you can exonerate yourself. Because when you exonerate yourself, it removes that dark cloud from over the generation that will follow you, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. But if you don't exonerate yourself, that dark cloud hangs over them for life. And generation after generation will keep pointing finger that your father was a rogue or your father was a killer. But if you go to court and the court clears you, anybody want to point finger at you, you can always refer to the verdict that was passed by the court, saying that, look, this happened and my father's name was cleared or my grandfather's name was cleared, and you have no ground to speak to me in such. And so the good thing that the major opposition bloc is also singing the song of war economic crimes code. So that means if this government doesn't implement it, we're going to hold the next government accountable. If we successfully defeat Judge Weah 2023, we're going to hold the next government. I can tell you that for a fact. I'm one person. I'm very strict on my words. I don't bite my tongue. I don't sing praises because we own the same political alignment. Things that we should have done for the betterment of the country, I will tell anybody in their face that, look, this is what we should do. And for no political, pretense, I don't go for political pretense. So the fact that they have all endorsed it, that's something that we will hold them by. I personally will lead a campaign to remind them that this is what we all signed up for before taking power, and it must be implemented. And so you can take my word on it today. That's something that we're going to keep pushing until we get it. And it's also good that we have major interest from the UN and the United States government. So, and other pressure groups. And that means we foresee that they're going to push this government to ensure that this government implement it. Because for me, I would say war crimes code debate should not pass 2023. It shouldn't be a campaign message 2023 that when you let me out bring war crimes code. No, it shouldn't be a message. We should achieve it before getting the 2023 election. After 2023 election, it should be about full implementation and not about whether the person going to endorse it or not.
All right. Okay. Keep your call coming out on 215-578-1050 or 215-824-8124. We have Fulbeat Henry on the line with us. He is flesh and blood with us this afternoon. Fulbeat Henry is a very good friend, a very good advocate, a Liberian. He is an entrepreneur who believe in Liberians doing their own thing. So call me up now on 215-578-1050 or 215-824-8124. So let us go back. What do you foresee 2023?
2023 will be a tough battle. It will be a tough battle. First, we firstly need to cross the opposition in-house fight and close up on the nomination of the single ticket. So that's the major test for the opposition bloc. If we can achieve that without a clash, without a crash, then we can safely predict 2023 will be a landslide victory for the CPP. But the first bottleneck we'll have to clear is the selection of who leads the ticket, and we will do that without crashing and anybody getting vexed and pulling out and going on their separate ways. Then we can safely predict the outcome of 2023 election.
Now, someone was suggesting to me that when the CP just break apart, they go, because we know further whether Josh Menenwia cannot win the election come first round. We know that for a fact.
Certainly.
So let us say that what not that the CP send everyone who want to be a president. Why not the CP break apart, but they sign to a document to say, oh look, Lord, take another quarter. Quarter, what is the name and where are you calling from?
Yep, good afternoon. I'm Elvis calling from Minnesota.
You hear me?
I'm hearing
you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I firstly want to thank you for this interesting topic, and gratitude to your studio guest, Mr. Henry. I worked with him for so many years, and then he's just the question of being the swift power church. He follows the voice of the majority, which is the right thing to do as a leader. And he been pushing this. I remember my time back in Liberia and then pushing there. We solicited signatures toward the establishment of this court. And things haven't been going well by some government forces and you name it. But I want to stress on something here. The issue of the war crime code that I know is going to be a must, but what becomes of those that are victims of the war? I got a person, he's the victim of the war right now. He's Emmanuel, who knows him very well. If I can recall, it was back then, 1992. Then when you used to hear about Dudu Ball, we were running for safety, running for life, walking, going to the destination of nowhere. And then the Dudu Ball spilled. And in the middle of the hair, where you got your move, in the middle of the hair, his hair, the Dudu Ball spilled and up or down. Emmanuel can't get to himself. He was sometimes, quote unquote, try to tend to be like a Zogo, sometimes try to tend to be good. Just off and on like that. He better can explain his story if given the time and opportunity. So my concern here is what really becomes of those that were victimized of this war. How their life going to end up, how they're going to be. Government going to look after them. Ebola came, I think they had relief package for Ebola victims. Well, it was okay. Now it's the war and economic crime code. We got family, we got friends living among us. We can still get the understanding of themselves. What becomes of it?
Mr. Fubi, let us pause. Mr. Fubi, you heard a question. His question is necessary.
Yeah, I got it.
So
I got a question.
What become of those victims?
Thanks, Elvis, for coming in, and thanks for your question. So, and that's why we're pushing for the full implementation of the TRC recommendations, because within there's something called reparation, and reparation is to take care of victims of the war. Though we are all victims, and there are several categories of victims, and there are some of those things that government ought to do by ourselves. And those that were greatly hit, especially with physical damage that you can point to, there should be packages for them, and it's all within the recommendation. And that's why we're pushing for the full implementation. The full implementation calls for setting up of an extraordinary tribunal to try economic and war crimes, setting up of using the criminal code A to also try some other minor crimes, the public sanction, and also reparation for victims of the war, and also ensuring that government towns and villages that were badly damaged, that were burned, that were bombed, for government to also carry out some basic social services to restore and improve the living standard of the people beyond what the damage did. So they all cover. There's a full package for the whole TRC recommendations, and victims are covered in there.
Okay. All right. Because I was not a victim, and I cannot in no way say that I am a victim. But I having closest friends that were victims from this war, and I feel for them up to now that when they're walking by themselves, they keep talking. They keep talking by themselves. They don't take any sound decision all by themselves. Somebody have to assist them. And that is the reason why we are calling for the War and Economic Crime Code. So Mr. Phoebe Henry, I think that's all the time that we have here for this magnificent talk show. And I just wanted for you to be able to give your parting statement. We will welcome you back here for us to discuss other political issues. But this today is just about TRC and the War Crime Economic Crime Code. So what is your parting statement?
Yeah, so to all Liberians out there, let's see this whole War and Economic Crimes Code issue as a way to bring closure to what took place in this country. There are a lot of things that took place in the country. When you hear people's stories, you will not believe that they actually took place in the country. Like you play the clip of people talking about Senegalese eating hearts, and there are more damaging stories than that. There's another story about this guy that will kill people and put them in wheelbarrow, cut it piece, and pass it around in the village for everybody to buy a piece and eat. If you don't buy and eat, they kill you. There's this guy story also. There are so many. There's a story here of somebody, some family living right here in New Matadi, where the son was made to go out with his mother, and his mother got pregnant and born his son. So his mother born both his brother and his son, and that child is big today. Living right here. So that family lives with that trauma. I told you about the woman that her husband got our bomb. Every just told you about Emmanuel that was hit by a doodle ball. And there are several other ones. The victims of the literature massacre, when they explain their stories to you, you also feel terrible. How they survived and how the killing went on. I told you about my experience at JFK. When the guys went there and they pulled out of the hospital, and we had to pass through the small gate at the main entrance, one by one, and they were asking you for your tribe, for your ID card. When you sounded like you're from Nima County, you were placed in a pickup and taken to either the Lapasi Zoo or the JNP for execution. And those that live on the Lapasi Zoo, when they tell you how to go and kill, they will bring the pickup, turn the pickup back, and tell you to jump down and run for your life. When you're running, they shoot behind you and kill you. So people saw dead bodies were like carpet. You walk on it. Today they have the mass grave. Every decoration day, I go there with my guys to clean it. A mass grave right in Lapasi. They have about 2. So these are things that happen that shouldn't have happened. Families went against each other because of tribal issue. Gio men married to Crown woman, and because of the war, became Crown and Gio. They killed each other. The families that were once united in love went against each other because of senseless war. And so those things shouldn't have happened. So that always saying, let's have justice and let's close this matter so that we don't repeat history, anytime. And our children shouldn't experience what we experience. And also for the economic crimes, you cannot take government job and you think that it's about elephant meat. When you get there, eat your own. Because when you leave, or where you tell a Berego that where the Berego is going to eat. At the end of the day, people lack hospitals, people lack good education, people lack good roads, people lack all the basic social services simply because few persons sitting in government eating the money that should benefit the different sectors to improve the lives of the people. And that's why the economic crimes code is. That's why economic crime code. That's why the economic crimes code is necessary. And also, we need all of these things so that when you get in government, when you sign contract to make $500, if you're not satisfied with it, leave government job and go somewhere else. But when you say that $500, you agree to, don't be taking $500 salary and be living $5,000 life. So it means the other 4,500 should be benefiting some other people. Well, you taking it every month. So we need to change that. So we want everybody to see this as a holistic fight and not as a tribal defense war or a religious defense war or brotherhood or friendship or for political reasons. Let's see this as a collective fight, that justice is what we need, so that nobody, like I said, nobody should take gun and kill anybody for power. If you want political power, go to election. If you don't win, try again. If the opportunity comes, if you think that you still want to try. And for me, I contested 3 elections, I lost all. But I still got political ambition. I will try again. But I will not take gun for power. And I want everybody to do the same. Thank you, and thank you, AB, for the opportunity. And anytime, just hit me up. We can plan it, and we'll always be available to give our input.
Thank you, Fubit Henry. Thank you. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You know, this war and economic crime court issue, there's a need that we have it, and the time is not other than now. So Fubit has been our guest, and I really appreciate the discussions. For me, I am a Madingo man, but that does not mean that I should back Araji DV Kroman. That does not mean Afranima. That does not mean that I should back the Tango. That does not mean that I should back Tango. Afranima. But that does not mean that I should back Tango. That does not mean that I should back Seko Damatekone because he is a Madingo man. No. What was the reason of fighting this senseless war? Can somebody call here and tell me what was the significant reason for us to fight this senseless war? Nobody can tell me. Because what they will be able to say, because of massive corruption, is corruption not happening today? Is corruption not happening today in our country? So I want to thank you all for tuning on. But tomorrow we'll be here. But I just wanted to say this. Can you imagine Nathaniel follow my guest saying that not only George Manor we are government, that they will have one economic crime code. So that means that they have agreed to go through the suffering. I strongly believe that we need war economic crime code now. People kill it. Let me play you the clip once more.
Western overlooks a rocky and dusty hill known as Ekomok Hill after an Ekomok peacekeeper who died in a car crash during the First Liberian Civil War. Children played as I traveled by motorbike into the predominantly Muslim town, a very different scene from what transpired here 25 years ago. Omen Dauman Conte, 49, recalls the night the massacre took place here in August 1994.
The whole town was hard and scattered. Nobody knew where they are going. They were just shooting. Some people yelling. They grabbed some people, they cut their throat. Some people, they were killed by a gun. So after we all left the town, they did our shooting. Daylight, we were managed to come. I mean, tears.
With tears rolling down his eyes, Conte said more than 25 disfigured bodies were counted after the incident. Conte says it was difficult to identify.
That's how we'd like to come to the very, very end of the Manesan Abraka Talk Show. Be my guest tomorrow. As you always know, we are always on by around 12:30 a.m. So we'll be on tomorrow by 12:30 a.m. See you when I see you.